I want to feel that you want it. Oh, let me feel what you are. Flashes on matches, splashes of ashes, embers are rising, smoke fills the skies, and wind blows and then crashes, waves over the ashes, hills washed up in violence.
Anyways, it's the toilet bowl. We got Howard, Cohen, Kirk Cousins. I've got Cook, Ridley, Texans, Crabtree, blah, blah, blah. Comes down to one thing. Cruddy, I'm going to make your fucking ass bleed. It's going to bleed good, and it's going to be sore for days. But as far as gopher eradication is concerned, let me kick it over to my good friend. You may know him as Bill Murray.
Anybody home? Hello, Mr. Gopher. Yeah, it's me, Mr. Squirrel. Yeah, hi. Just a harmless squirrel, not a plastic explosive or anything, nothing to be worried about. Yeah, I'm just here to make your last hours on Earth as peaceful as possible. Yes, don't mind this. This is doctor's orders and so forth. Yeah, you don't mind if I just pop in there for a few laughs, huh? Yeah, that's right. Well, in the words of Jean-Paul Sartre, au revoir, Gopher.
Before I actually get into breaking down the matchups, let's just get down to the tail of the tape, which is sponsored to you by Affliction. On one side, you have someone with a 6-4 record. On the right side, you can see that that individual actually had a previous winning record against the individual on the left. Overall, the matchup is 6-4 in favor of Dan Suki. He has actually won 6 of the last 7. Real quick, how can we not rewind back to 2017? Mind Freak on his way to a third title, but no, Money Hunt actually comes out of nowhere and snatches victory from the jaws of defeat. Nonetheless, Mind Freak back in the big dam. Folks, welcome children, after witnessing some of the drama going on today. Namely to one Ditka. Clearly he is stressed to the gills, or stressed to the max as far as, you know, that elusive third toilet bowl title is concerned. Anyways, on to the premier matchup, what we call the Battle for Dead Presidents, or the Super Bowl. And, you know, really, you know, when you look at the tail of the tape there, some interesting things. We got to go all the way back to week 3 to see our future Super Bowl matchup. I looked at a quick comparison of rosters, and it's actually quite interesting because of the fact that when you look at that week 3 matchup, Mind Freak is only starting 7 of his 11 current guys back then, and most of the changes have been offensively. I look at who being new in the league. So we have, oh, my screen just went away from me here for a second. So it was, right now he's got Ingram that's included in the lineup, Edelman, and then he had removed a couple of other guys. So that was one of the risks that he took. And back then, He lost in a close one, but that has paid dividends for taking some of those guys in the later rounds as far as some of the production that he does have. The other thing that I see from a just overall perspective between these two, Suki has a little bit more consistency as far as the guys that he's been starting across his lineup throughout the year. One of the interesting things to note is that we've got a quarterback battle this week. And, unfortunately for Eggs and fortunately for Mind Freak, that's actually going to take place in LA. You're going to see Phillip Rivers versus Lamar Jackson. You do wonder how LA would do in Baltimore, but that is not the case. As I've already stated, they will be in Los Angeles. But Egg rolls back at that time in week 3 was rolling with Wentz. He was able to get 166 points and beat Mind Freak with Wentz only putting up a Pedley 11 burger on the proverbial scoreboard. I think Lamar Jackson will probably get him 20. Being that we're battling for the Dead President's round, I figure what I'll do is I'll go line by line. We'll look at the actual matchups, and then I will rate it either with a 20 or a 5 as far as who's going to do a little bit better. I do have a dollar bill. That's for the shit bowl, so we won't even worry about dollar bills, being that we're actually focused on the Super Bowl here. Anyways, to the matchups. Phillip Rivers versus Lamar Jackson. Phillip Rivers is hot. I think even if LA were in Baltimore, they would do just well. They've gone into Pittsburgh multiple times this time of year and actually won. I do like what Lamar Jackson can do just based on what Patrick Mahomes was able to do not too long ago. When I look to Damian Williams in Seattle, that will be a very interesting X matchup. And you do have to wonder if maybe Eggs is playing a little possum right now with the lineup. I do see that. Oh, I never did rate Phillip Rivers, Lamar Jackson. I'll go Phillip Rivers with the 20, and I'll go Lamar Jackson 5. And the main thing is experience, not on the field, but Phillip Rivers not knowing how many shots he's got left. Especially with this record, you flip it over to his rookie year. They're 14-2. They host New England. I think a lot of people in San Diego at that time thought there was going to be many Super Bowls to come. They never made it there once. So anyways, that's why I think it's the over factor. Ingram versus Damian Williams. New Orleans hosts a desperate Pittsburgh team. We saw Pittsburgh really rise to the occasion last week at home against New England, rightfully so, but that is a different New England offense. I think New Orleans is going to have their way. I don't think Ingram is going to really do all that well. I'm actually going to say that this is a push. They're going to split $5 between them, so that's $250. So Saquon Barkley versus Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman has been awful. Obviously, I'm a little partial to this because I drafted that piece of shit Devontae Freeman. I think he got 4 points collectively for the year. Tevin Coleman has been no better. He may have 8 points. So I don't know why, again, that Eggs is going with Coleman. Obviously, maybe he's a little bit gun-shy, snake bit as far as what happened with Aaron Jones last week. Pile on top of that, that he's a Bears fan. This guy plays for Green Bay. I still think you got to go for the guys who brought you to the table, or as they say in Texas, you don't shun the partner who brought you to the dance. So, word of advice for Eggs. I think that overall, there's no way Saquon Barkley is going to do shit in Indy, especially after the linebacker for Indy was snubbed the way that he was. He wanted to get 48 tackles or something ridiculous. So pump the brakes on the hyperbole there as an Indy fan. But anyways, back to the matchup. I'm going to go with, where's that dollar bill? I mean, you two can fucking split a dollar bill if that's what your matchup's going to be. Julian Edelman hosting Buffalo. New England's going to get back home. They're going to get that feel-good story going again. Not going to have what it takes against Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is going to go off in this game. So I'm actually going to give Eggs not 120, but 220s. But then again, you know what? I hate to take away some of that cheddar, Eggs, but you know what? Don't go running it to the bank yet, because guess what? When I give you a 20, I gave you 2 20s, you still got to get to the bank. And guess what? Mind Freak's going to play that defense, and you're going this way, just like that. There's 20 gone. So anyways, I go 20-5 on that one. Adam Thielen versus T.Y. Hilton. Very interesting matchup. Minnesota's playing in Detroit. I think that'll be just fine for him. I don't know where Detroit is at. I think that they will bring some pride to the table. T.Y. Hilton, I think that he's going to shine against Indy. I'm going to go TY. Stephon Diggs versus Cooks. I think definitely Stephon Diggs. That's a 20 for Mind Freak. Brait versus Gronkowski. Interesting that even though Mind Freak doesn't have O.J. Howard starting, he actually still is going with the Tampa Bay tight end. Nonetheless, it has a difference in position from their Week 3 matchup. This is not the same Gronkowski. I mean, I don't know why Eggs is not calling it audible. Again, I guess you bring the partner that brought you to the dance. But if I was on that third base, I'd be doing some jiu-jitsu here. Try to get that guy sliding across home. You're going to need to figure out something to do with how Gronk can be a factor here. Whether he's, I don't know. I just don't get it overall. I'm going to go Cameron Brait. I'm going to go Cameron Brait 25. Plus 25, I'll give Eggs, I'll give him $1. Will Lutz versus Harrison Butker. I don't care about kickers. I do think Kansas is going to have maybe some drives that might be stalling a little bit. They're going to need Butker to keep him in the game. I look for Butker to have maybe a 15-point game, maybe a 14-point game, versus for Lutz on New Orleans, he's probably going to have a 25-point game. New Orleans is going to have a lot of fun against Pittsburgh. They're going to blow it up. They're going to have tight. They're probably going to score 10 straight times. I think overall, it's going to go the edge to Mind Freak. Jacksonville at home versus Miami. Jacksonville is loving these little kind of 3-2 baseball scores like we're in October and we're playing baseball. Candidly, it's a little fucked up. They are in Miami versus Chicago is on the road to San Fran. I think this is kind of a trap game for Chicago. With that said, this defense is ready to ball. It doesn't matter if it's Tuesday evening, if it's Sunday night, if it's Monday night, this Bears D is real. Nonetheless, Mind Freak playing D during the Super Bowl. I mean, think about it. I'll give him 26. I'll give Eggs half of a 10. And I'll give him $1. You do the math. Daniel Hunter versus J.J. Watt. J.J. in Philadelphia. He's probably going to be seeing some sightseeing. He's probably going to be looking over at that sideline. He's going to want to do something. So I think he'll take a couple dollars. He may throw in a 5, which is a sack. And then after that, he's going to then split 23 ways. And then we're going to compare that against Hunter, who's probably just going to take a 1 and go 6 ways with it. So you do the math on that one as well. Lastly, Kuchelli or Luke Keeley versus Trevathan, the linebacker for the Bears. Boy, I'm just torn here. I'm torn because I just don't know if Atlanta's going to run the ball, period. Can Keeley do anything from a sack factor? We're not doing anything from a rush perspective. Now, to our commissioner next year, anyways, maybe we want to factor in 1 point per rush because you are influencing the play. Same thing as a PPR. Wow, it's amazing. This thing doesn't think about shit. They're too busy debating about fucking toilet bowl titles and actually thinking about what points fucking matter. Anyways, back to the matchup at hand. I do like Luke and cool hand Luke. That's why. So I'm gonna give him a 5. I'm gonna double the 5. And I got a blackjack on the river. It comes out. I'll do 20 to 5, and then plus 1. That's what I'm gonna go with Mind Freak. On the bench side, I mean, really, where I see things kind of being interesting, Greg Olsen. Is he playing? If he's playing in hosting Atlanta, Cam Newton's out. So what do you do on that front? And then I guess, for Eggs, obviously Aaron Jones is going to be a factor. I don't know who Austin Hooper is. Antonio Callaway, I think, has been doing pretty well, hasn't he? 14 points in Denver. Who would he be sitting then? Cooks? He's got to do Coleman, though. So, on the front, we need, that's the other thing. I mean, we're already going to be sunsetting, 2018. We're a league of the future, I thought. Let's maybe look at the multiple flex positions versus where we're at right now. This is a shit show. Anyways, lastly, tune in to the end to see who I predict. Good having you, folks.